All right. This is chapter 11. My name is John Olsen,
I'm Jake Oliver.
and we'll get into it. This is about incentivizing the sales force and your salespeople. Here are some quick learning objectives, just pros and cons to different types of compensation, bonuses and incentives, goods and bads of sales contest, importance of non-financial rewards, issues with expense accounts, and how to give the right compensation. Here are some characteristics of great compensation plans that we can get into later. Here are three quick questions about the compensation programs, those being compensation methods, how much compensation should be given to the salespeople, and what is the best mix of the financial and non-financial. Here's some quick terms to go over. Oops. Salary is the fixed amount that the salespeople make each year. Incentives include commission and bonus. Commission is part of what they make based off of a sale, and a bonus is typically an end of year addition to the salary for sales that a person made. Quota is the minimum requirement of sales required for the company. Sales contests, these encourage extra efforts and increase short-term sales and aim to achieve short-term objectives in the company. Benefits, this can include anything outside of the salary and other incentives such as medical care, dental care, for example, life insurance, anything like that, and non-financial opportunities for promotion and recognition in the company. Indicators for an incentive program: multiple individuals, maintaining incentives program. Company invests heavily on incentives, but the program lacks accountability, anything cost benefit outcomes. Employees complain about inconsistent practices and or lack of meaningful rewards. And the most common objective to outsourcing is the cost. So for some components and objectives of these compensation plans: salary, better employees that have been there at the company longer or do a better job typically have higher salaries. Commission, this encourages salespeople to sell more because a portion of each sale goes to them. Bonuses, the top performer gets a chunk of money based off of the sales / current salary, motivates sales force to perform their best, so they get rewarded at the end of each year. Sales contests, usually short-term rewards that are given through the company, and benefits is anything outside, including insurance and medical, like discussed earlier. Three primary: straight salary, straight commission, and a combination of these. This has been proven that it is the best way to motivate your sales force. Straight salary, this is focuses on a long-term pay motivation for the employee, takes away from short-term goals, which is good because it allows for the sales force to focus on long-term goals of the company rather than the short-term, and it's easy to compensate and pay out for the company. The only real disadvantage is no incentive to perform in the selling aspect. Straight commission, this is a partial payment off of the sale you just made. It's a strong motivator and easy to increase productivity. This has a direct effect based on sales made. Some of the limitations, though, to this method of pay is that salespeople lack the motivation to do anything else for the company. Harder for salespeople to build relationships because they just want to keep selling, and harder to control sales force to do other tasks. For combination plans, salary-based pay plus some portion of sales made. This is a happy medium because it combines the last two methods, so it really can help with increasing sales and reaching the objectives long term for the company. Proportion of incentive pay to total compensation. Proportion of incentive to base salary should be based on the degree of the relationship selling involved in the job. If there is a demand for more short-term goals and building new relationships, the incentive should be larger, but it should be reduced if they want to reach the longer-term goals. Ceilings, this is basically just capping off the payment for the company, making sure that they can stay in budget, but also paying their salespeople for their good work. You also have to account for that. When is a sale a sale? This slide can be a little confusing, but in short, it's referring to when a buyer receives the item and the seller receives the payments in the sales force. Team versus individual incentives. Managers must ask these three questions to see what is best for the company in the long run. If teams make everyone perform better or hold back, this holds back the go-getters of the sales force. And here's a quick breakdown of the survey. 21% paid incentive programs earnings annually, 3% paid, 24 and 52. Basically, plans offering salary plus commission offer monthly payments, whereas salary plus bonus plans often make quarterly or annual payments. Making sure we're on track here. Jake's about to take over. These are the steps to executing compensation plans. 5 steps. First one is research. Second one is define objectives. Third one is develop a plan. 4 is you're going to want to test it in the field. And then 5 is going to be document, change anything, and just look back and see what you can do better. And then here is a chart that breaks down what I mentioned earlier about the different types of compensation with straight salary, straight commission, and the combination, and which one is most effective. And now Jake will take over.
Thank you, John. Sales contests are short-term incentive programs to accomplish specific objectives. Oftentimes, winners receive prizes, recognition, or an increased sense of accomplishment. And successful contests require clearly defined specific objectives, an exciting theme, a reasonable probability of rewards for all. Go ahead. As far as contest objectives go, contests supplement the firm's compensation programs. Their objectives should be very specific and clearly defined. Incentive compensation needs to be consistent with stated corporate objectives. And contest themes are very important to a successful contest. An exciting theme helps build enthusiasm and promote the event, but you should pick your theme strategically and design it to stress the objectives and appeal to all the participants. Probability of winning. It is essential to a successful contest that every member of your sales force has a chance of winning an award. It is becoming increasingly common that companies are focusing on incentive programs like contests that seek to reward more rather than fewer people. There are many types of contest rewards. There's not one universal, one-size-fits-all reward. The rewards don't necessarily have to be cash rewards either. Regardless of the form of the reward, the monetary value must be large enough to be attractive to participants given their level of compensation. To promote and follow through with your contests, in order to create interest for contests, they should be launched with fanfare. By doing so, firms announce these contests at national or regional sales meetings. To maintain interest in the contest. Follow-up promotions are also necessary. Lastly, winners should be recognized and prizes should be rewarded. There are many criticisms within sales contests. They may not be able to produce lasting improvements. People may borrow sales from another time to increase their sales throughout the contest. And if the contests are poorly administered, they can greatly hurt cohesiveness and morale. But like I said, they don't have to be monetary rewards. Non-financial rewards, for example, recognition is important because it makes peers and superiors aware of outstanding performance. Some ways to effectively implement recognition is by offering a reasonable chance of winning and recognizing the best performers across multiple dimensions. Non-financial rewards can include perks, higher compensation, better automobiles, and better office facilities. There are also recognition programs. In order for recognition programs to be effective, they should offer a reasonable chance of winning for everyone and should recognize the best performers across multiple performance dimensions. There's some certain guidelines for effective formal recognition. This slide includes essential features of effective formal recognition programs. These features are: the program must be performance-based and balanced, a ceremony should be involved, the program must be in good taste, and there must be an adequate publicity. Expense accounts. The three types of expense accounts are direct reimbursement, limited reimbursement, and no reimbursement. Direct includes all allowable and reasonable expenses. Limited sets expense limits, and no reimbursement is when the salespeople have to cover all expenses, but are usually given a higher total compensation. Making compensation and incentive programs work. Even the best designed compensation and incentive programs can lose their effectiveness over time. The two major issues that are involved in assessing relationship selling objectives and determining job performance aspects to reward. Assessing the relationship selling objectives. It is important for managers to evaluate how salespeople are allocating their time. To assess the relationship selling objectives, it is important to compare current performance to firm objectives for relationship selling. Additionally, managers may need to adjust quotas to alter motivations. Now for leadership, the perils of rewarding A while hoping for B. This essentially means organizations often create reward systems that pay off one behavior, even though the rewarder wants to achieve a different type of behavior. It is important for sales managers to consider their reward systems to match their organization's goals. So how do you determine which aspects of job performances to reward? There are different components of compensation programs that can be designed to reward different activities to achieve multiple objectives. There are issues when rewards are tied to numerous aspects of performance. It becomes difficult for a salesperson to focus on improving performance drastically in one area, and a salesperson can be uncertain about how total performance is evaluated and what rewards can be obtained. There are many different sales activities. This slide is a list of sales activities and performance outcomes that could be encouraged by compensation and incentive programs. A few listed are push new products, secure average orders, and increase the number of calls made. Now, when deciding on the most appropriate mix and level of compensation, it is important to decide on the most appropriate mix and level of compensation. One rule to maximize motivational value is to maximize motivational value. It is crucial to design a sales compensation and incentive package that designs the salesperson's current preferences for various rewards. Additionally, you should be monitoring the total compensation in similar jobs and companies to compete for the best talent. You don't want to pay salespeople too much, though. There are problems with paying salespeople too much. It can increase selling costs, reduce profits, create resentment and low morale when some people earn significantly more money, And at some level of compensation, the next dollar earned would show diminishing returns in terms of motivation. You also can't pay them too little. On the other hand, there are dangers with paying salespeople too little. If poor salespeople are hired at a low pay, there will be poor performance. Also, cutbacks in compensation budgets may result in short-term cost savings without long-term market opportunity. So how do we change the compensation plan? There are two main forms of doing this. The first is changing to a less performance-sensitive scheme. This may lead to poorer performance and potentially a loss of higher performing salespeople. The second is frequent changes regardless of the type. When companies are underperforming, they may look to the compensation program as a tool to pay staff to do more and different tasks, but that will not fix the underlying problem within the firm. And that is all from Chapter 11, Sales, Compensation, and Incentives. Thank you.
Thank you.